My wife wants our baby to have the same last name as her ex who offed himself. My wife and I faced difficulties in conceiving due to an accident I had when I was younger. After 3 years, we finally had our daughter 3 weeks ago. Both the baby and mom are home and healthy, but I have been on the couch due to an issue over the surname. My wife was previously in a long-term relationship with her ex, who unalived himself due to mental health issues after returning from service abroad. Her son from her first relationship lives with us and will turn 12 in a month. He currently has her ex's surname. She wants our baby to have her ex's surname, as she still goes by that name, so that her son doesn't feel left out from his new and future siblings, and, in her words, because he has a better name than mine. I tried to compromise by suggesting that, since I practically raised her son, he could have my surname, ensuring he won't feel left out, and she could take my name too. However, she rejected the idea, stating that he has had his name all his life and shouldn't have to change it to appease me. I tried to explain that they have two separate fathers, so it's natural that they have two different names. I suggested she use her maiden surname and hyphenate it with mine for our baby, and she can hyphenate her maiden name with her ex's for her son, ensuring that the siblings will have almost the same name, but that suggestion was also turned down. We have to register the baby's name next Thursday. I told her that we should probably get couples therapy, and in the meantime, register her with my name. She turned that down too, stating that she went through the trouble of carrying and delivering her, and she should get to decide this on her own. I even asked her son, and he said he doesn't mind having separate names as he knows his father was his father, but I am his dad. He doesn't care if his sister has a different surname. I told my wife this, and she said I'm emotionally manipulating her son. We had an argument 5 days ago and haven't spoken much. I didn't want it to continue like this, as these should be our happy moments. 2 days ago, I told her that the baby either gets my surname or we are getting a divorce. I told her that perhaps her late husband could help raise our daughter with her since she doesn't want to acknowledge me as the dad. She called me a manipulator and said it's not fair that she doesn't get to decide the baby's first name on her own or the surname. For context, her suggestions for the first name when she was pregnant were feminine versions of her ex's name, like Alexis, Alexia, Alexandra for Alexander, and his actual name if we had had a boy. Today, I called a solicitor, and she overheard. She is telling me that I am forcing her into a corner with this name thing, even though we went with her choice of the first name after I sifted out the one similar to her ex's and added my choice as a middle name. I just want some outside opinions on whether I am doing the right thing. Like, what am I doing with life anymore? It's so messed up. Update 1. Based on the advice given here, I contacted the registration office, and they told me that as long as you are married, only one parent is needed for the name registration. I wanted to appeal to her better nature and got her, mine, and her ex's parents involved. Her sister also tagged along for this discussion. Turns out, my parents, and my 3 siblings via group chat, are the only ones that agreed with me on either my surname or her maiden name. Her parents and sister, along with her other siblings via group chat, agreed with her, saying I should do it as she was the one that carried her. Surprisingly, her ex's parents thought it would be a nice gesture to name my daughter with their surname and, to my shock, revealed the first name I agreed to that was her suggestion, which wasn't a female variant of her ex's, was the name her ex wanted to name their child if they had had a girl instead. She blushed when that piece of information got out when I called her on it. I asked her if it would be fair to name our daughter after one of my exes, to which she replied that I only had a body count of 3 and that 2 had the same name, and both names were ugly. When everyone left, I tried to reason with her, but she slammed the bedroom door in my face and locked it. During the discussion with the parents, I tried asking her ex's parents if they would be okay with me naming their grandson after me after I adopt him, and they said they would never allow either adoption or name change. When I asked them if it was fair for my daughter to have their name, they said they felt their grandson was closer to his sister than I was to her as a father, and both should have the same surname. They also ridiculed my choice in both the first and middle name for my daughter, in addition to my surname. This is a couple that, up until that point, I had a reasonably good relationship with. I raised their grandson as my own and was very surprised that this is how they felt about me. In the morning, she didn't come out, and I left her breakfast by the door, hoping she would calm down enough by the time we would register to discuss it as adults. A few of her friends phoned and asked me why it was so important for me, in the year 2023, to give my surname to my child. I explained my side and why I had reservations. They still felt I was being unreasonable. On the Tuesday before the name appointment, she picked a fight with me and said she was going with her original name, the female version of her ex. She went as far as saying that she would rather off herself than give her daughter my name. So, I am a little ashamed about this, but as I pictured that she would no longer be in my future, I called the police on her, saying she threatened to unalive herself. I am not proud of this, but they came and took her despite her protesting that she was okay, and it was only said in the heat of the moment. I egged on the police, telling them it could be postpartum depression, and that I felt it was not safe for her to be around our baby. I registered the name on my own without her blessing and participation. She was still not released by then, so our daughter's first, middle, and last names were all chosen by me. She obviously has some unresolved issues, and I hope she gets the help she needs. There is something wrong with her, as she instructed her ex's parents to collect her son and my daughter to look after via her sister until she could get out. When her ex's parents came by and tried to take the baby, I told them to leave. They threatened with the police, and I told them to go ahead. So, they left with just their grandson. Her parents came by during the weekend and wanted the baby too, telling me not to be difficult. I told them no, and since then, I've had a visit from a health visitor and the midwife. When she was released, she didn't come home and went straight to her parents. She has been there since, although she tried twice to take the baby from me, but I changed the lock so she couldn't get in. She did drop off expressed milk for the baby and has continued to do so via her sister. I contacted a solicitor for the divorce, and for now, I am keeping the baby, as even the health visitor said that social services are going to get involved due to her mental state, and I am the better option for care for now. There is no saving my marriage, and I doubt she ever loved me with other things that have come out since then. I will always love her son and hold out hope that someday, when he is old enough to make his own decisions, he will seek me out, but as my solicitor put it, don't hold your breath for that to happen. My older brother and his wife are staying with me to help out for now. Their children are all teens, and they have done this new baby thing 5 times, and all their children made it to teenhood, so I am listening to all their advice. Thanks for listening.